Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Amy and this is Hudson Valley Tarot. I'm going to try something different today. I'm calling them PAR or Pick Apart a Reading. This is something I do for a few people that I've mentored in tarot. And I thought it would be cool if I just did it on the YouTube channel so that all of you can see how I pick apart a reading. A little background, there's two great sites. There's, well, it's not sites. So there's a Discord group. I think it's called Tarot Explorers, and I have to open Discord to check the name because it's a great place to learn tarot and get some good feedback from people. But they have a mentoring program, and I signed up for that there, and met someone, I should say, that I mentored consistently for a while. Since I've gone back to a full-time job, I don't do it as much. But often I would take her readings and literally pick them apart. Sometimes she would ask specific questions about, her reading that she was unable to make connections. And others, like, how would I interpret this card in this position? Or what does it mean that these two cards are together? Things like that. Another great place, if you're new and you want to find a tarot mentor, is the Tarot Nerds Facebook group. I think that place is excellent. They do have a place where you can post your readings and get feedback. They have a curriculum set up. It's really well done. I'm impressed by it. And they also have you can sign up to be a mentor, or you can sign up to find a mentor. And I did find someone there and mentor them as well. And I learned a lot and they learned a lot. It was really great. So she reached out to me. I'm leaving her name private, and she asked if I could look at one of her readings, and I said, well, would you mind if I did it on my YouTube channel? I don't have a lot of time anymore, and I think it would be great content for other people to see how I do my readings, or how to interpret things differently and get some feedback. So if you're new to reading, or really even if you're more experienced, there's something you could pick up as well if you follow me through this. So what I'm going to do is I'll switch the camera to the cards, and I will also, in the description, I will include a PDF of her reading, her interpretations, and she also sent me a picture of her cards. She used a unicorn deck that I don't have, and I am basically just tried to find a deck in my collection that has the same kind of energy or vibe of that deck. So I picked my Pastel Kitty Tarot. Because I think that decks have personalities, and the personality of the deck will affect the interpretation a lot. So I'll include a PDF. It'll have the pictures of her cards and my cards from the kitty deck. And I'm going to keep doing this, and but I would really love, if you are an experienced reader or a beginner reader, it doesn't matter. If you have some feedback for this reading, please put it in the comments, because there's so much if we put all of it together, there's so much we can get so much more we can get from this reading. So I'd love to hear how you would interpret things, or differently, or the same, or deeper. Put it in the comments. I really want to hear it all. And also, if you would like to submit a reading to me for me to pick apart here on my YouTube channel, please join my email list. That's the only thing I ask, is that you join my email list. There are links in the comments where you can get a free, I think I have a journal PDF for tarot journaling that you can download for free, and it's a very nice one. And also I have a little instructions on how I do a 3-card reading that you can download for free if you join my email list. And then you can email me your readings, and I'll try and do one once a month. I think that would be really fun and a great way for all of us to learn some tarot reading skills. All right, so I won't keep you any further. I hope you enjoy this, and please leave me the comments. Tell me what you think and give your interpretations. All right, I'll see you. I pulled out all the cards from the deck, and let's start looking at her reading. First, what I do is I'll just read her interpretation. I always start with that because hers is the authentic one. She's the one that did the original reading. And then I'll try and read a little more into it or add to it and explain why I pick up these things. Okay. So first we'll look at how she looks at the reading. The first card, the Sun, is how she views herself. The Four of Swords is how she views N in this relationship. And the third card is how she views the relationship as a whole. These are the same cards for him. She has them straight up and down, but I put them like this side by side because eventually we'll look and see how they kind of relate to each other. One thing I find people do is they just read the positions, and then they give an interpretation for each position. But there's so much more to get from a reading by looking at how the cards relate to each other. Okay, she gives me a nice summary, which I love about this particular person working with her. She's a really good reader. I see myself as a positive, light-shedding figure in N's life. So that's the Sun card, okay. I am all about being positive and leading friends and people in the right course of direction. All right. How she sees N. So that's the Four of Swords. She put, I see N as somewhat of a mysterious person and someone who may be difficult to read. However, after getting to know him a bit more and learning a bit about him, I see him more as a somewhat introverted person. Okay, I definitely see that as introverted, who may be longing for a loving bond. The Four of Swords with a picture of what appears to be an adult slash child gives me the impression that N may be longing for some kind of guidance or some kind of loving bond. He even told me he has had a bad dream regarding a parent recently. Okay, I'm going to stop right there and point out a couple of things. She is pulling from the traditional meanings of the cards, which is fine. She's not reading them verbatim, and she is reading them in the context of the spread. What is nice is that she is also reading into her specific image of the card, which I'm going to do as well with just this deck. But there's like a mother-child thing up in the corner in the Four of Swords stained glass window that she refers to, which she is letting that trigger a message for her, and that's really good. That's something that a lot of people don't get very easily, but she's doing that here, and that's great. Okay. And she mentions how that adult-child thing reminded her of something he told her once about a bad dream regarding a parent. So he's introverted, he's lonely, he wants some love. And again, that's why when I give advice, I hope I have the same deck, but often I don't, especially for her because she and I have different tastes. But let's continue. The Eight of Cups seems to confirm my feelings of neutrality for this connection. It is as easy as a quick glance, then venture onto another. As bright as I am as a sun that shines in someone's life, I can also quickly turn into a moon in the night when no one is looking. I am, however, still trying to decode what it means when I turn away from the Eight of Cups. I think she meant in the Eight of Cups. Could it signify losing interest quickly, not paying as much attention? Well, let's think about that. This position is how she views the relationship as a whole. Okay? And the other thing we can look at too is how the cards are all reacting with each other. And this is her perspective, right? And there's a lot of detachment here, except in the Sun card. The Sun is what we see on the outside, right? That is what we see in the view. And I can see where she is getting this. It all starts out sunny and fun, and she really tries to be all out there when she's in a friendship. But then it shows that she kind of feels like her friend is not responding to this, right? He's kind of taking a nap here. The toys are on the floor. He's ignoring, not paying attention. She mentioned that thing where he mentioned a bad dream about a parent. So there could be this childhood experiences that are causing him to be somewhat introverted. Now, this is how she sees their relationship as a whole. And I would say this is emotionally detached. So we're walking away from something that makes us feel good. And this is the relationship. This is not just him. So the question she should ask herself is, why is she walking away from something that's emotionally satisfying, I should say. And it's, again, this is why I look at the two of them side by side, how he views this relationship as a whole. He's got the Two of Cups. So this is a really good example of how when you look across and you compare cards and different viewpoints, it's like you think he's not paying attention, all right, because this represents the relationship, not just her. But N is kind of feeling romantic, right? And he's seeing her as someone magical. This is how he sees her in the relationship, right? And then again, seems to be aligned. This is how he sees himself in the relationship. And this is how she sees herself in the relationship. So here's a guy that loves to have fun. He feels comfortable with her. And likewise, she feels like she's the nurturer, though. We haven't even read her interpretation of these cards. So that's this going. So with the Eight of Cups, she asks, could it signify losing interest quick? Well, sure it could. But now you're talking specifically about you, right? You're feeling that both of you are walking away from your emotions, that this is something that you shouldn't feel, right? The Eight of Cups is knowing when to walk away, even though there's an emotional attachment. Either you feel it's an unhealthy relationship, or it's keeping you from focusing on other things in your life that are important. So not paying as much attention. Yes, it could mean those things, but why do you see it that way when he sees it as something totally different? That's what I would ask her, because the reading is for her, right? So she needs to understand why she sees it like this, all right? Because maybe she's the one that's a little introverted. I'm just saying. All right, so let's see what she says about N and his perspective. N is also enjoying the connection as well, obviously, very obviously. We're currently on good terms and enjoying each other's company. We spend time together in a game. As for how he sees me, the magician immediately jumped out. She notes here that he jumped out of the deck. I use jumpers for all my readings, but if you don't use jumpers and a card does jump out of the deck, it means it really wants to be there, right? I take that into consideration. Some people don't, but I do. As for how he sees me, the magician immediately jumped out. He might see me as someone who brings in ideas and helps him utilize his resources. Yes, he could be learning from you, watching you. You impress him, how well you use your resources and how quickly you pick things up and how you make things happen. N seems to see our connection more of a spark than me. Yes, but why? Why? While N enjoys drinking and dining with people, he's a partier, he's more of a partier. By the end of the day, he may want to unwind, enjoy a quiet night with me. I think so. We also talk about our aspirations for music interests. Yes, to all of that. I agree with her interpretations. She doesn't say much more about him, but let's look at these side by side. This is how she views him: uninterested, introverted. Maybe he needs some love. But here it's showing someone that enjoys the party, sees her in a really good light as someone to have fun with, that she brings life to the party. And then why does she see him as an introvert and he sees her as someone magical, right? Someone who's talented, can make things happen. Is it talking specifically? She says they like to game together. Is it talking specifically about that? So I would ask her to think about why does she see something totally different than him? And then finally, how they both view the relationship. So I think there's this, I would say, like if this were me, I would say, wow, why am I seeing the relationship? Am I projecting onto it? Am I afraid to get emotionally attached? So I'm convincing myself that he's not interested? That's what I might say, because these say he's very interested. He's not introverted at all. He's a party guy. He likes to party. And yeah, and he likes to be with her. So that is each of them. So now she goes into the relationship cards. I have them right here. These might be out of the frame a little bit, but I'll keep them out. I'm sorry. I know you can't see them all, and there's going to be 4 of these, so I have to kind of put them diagonally to fit them in the frame. So for these, the key strength in our relationship, the Queen of Pentacles. All right. A weak point in our relationship, the Devil. Okay. And where we seem to be heading in our relationship, the High Priestess. And finally, I'm going to put this right next to it so that you can see it. Actually, I'm going to take these out of the frame so we can see all 4 of these. She has them up and down, but again, we have to look at it like this so we can fit it in the frame. All right, so I can see the other cards, but you can't. But if I look at them all together, I'll bring them in. All right, so let's see what she says. It's clear that I'm the one who is carrying the weight of the relationship, not that I mind. The connection remains Balanced and consistent due to my sensible and stable energy. So this is the key strength in the relationship. So my first question is, why do you think you're the Queen of Pentacles? Why can't he be the Queen of Pentacles? Just saying, something to think about. Or is that how she sees herself? How does she see him? Is he, the sidekick? Let's see if we can. All right, so the Queen of Pentacles is cut off here, so I don't know what she's exactly looking at. But again, her sensible and stable energy. N and I, while friends, may be prone to addictive tendencies that is not highlighted as much, mainly on my side. But it can also just pinpoint a sense of flirtation. I think she's talking about the devil here. Or even on N's side for having some kind of less flirtation side. Okay. I feel like I can get myself easily trapped in whatever holes there are in this relationship, though. And now we're both stuck in our own world of whatever's going on. And she has kind of like a ... because she's, I guess, not pinpointed it. The High Priestess, and again, the High Priestess is where we seem to be heading in our relationship. The High Priestess strikes me as a card of learning and trusting in ourselves. Good, she should go with her instincts. However, I'm still learning about this card, so can't really say much more. Well, it's, I would say for that, go with your intuition first and then with what you learned about the card. And if you haven't learned a card yet, I'll show you how you can kind of just pull the meaning out of the card instead of relying on what you know. All right. And then the world makes me feel like I should consider the long-term goals or the future goals I may want in this connection. She's got a question mark there. So she says in the summary, we're on good terms with me holding the weight and nurturing the connection. However, I may not feel the same spark as he does. And we're both prone to falling into some pit of lust or addictions. It could be the gaming too. And that, even if you're not addicted or going too far with the gaming kind of, it's an escape. All right, so that could be it. And you said that I think you said that you met during gaming anyway. And so it doesn't have to be some big lust or, it doesn't have to be that kind of always for the devil, lust or something like that. It's anything that kind of distracts us, any kind of escape, any kind of, dopamine rush, and however we tend to get it, eating, gaming, sex, whatever, that could be the devil. All right. And then she says, spark as in mental situation, not necessarily a romantic thing. All right. She may not be feeling romantic, but I think he is. And let's go back to this now. Key questions. She said, how can I read the High Priestess in this context if it's a card of intuition? And the context is where we seem to be heading in our relationship. And then the other question is, how can I read the world in this context, which is something to keep in mind going forward in our relationship. So how can I read the world in this context if this is a card of completion and fulfillment? Well, it's not just completion and fulfillment. It is, but it's not just that. It's what comes with completion and fulfillment. Freedom. It's also like this, you've experienced everything, and so now you see things in a much more mature and a greater understanding. It kind of reminds me of like older people, like myself, will look back on their lives and say, oh, if I only knew then what I know now. And you look at other people doing similar things and you understand why they might be doing these things. So the World card is also about understanding where people are coming from, understanding why things happen in life, understanding, it's rising above and not being a victim of life, but being a student of life. So something to keep in mind going forward in your relationship is try and understand where the other person is coming from, right? So that's what else and is in the World card. Let's also look at the High Priestess. She asked where we seem to be heading in our relationship. So the High Priestess, keyword intuition for sure. She is quiet, but she has all the answers. She's also about secrets, right? She doesn't reveal. They're in the book. They're covered by the veil. You see the rabbit is hiding behind this, almost looks like a waterfall, but it could be like a veil. And there's the little moon, and the two pillars. So it's that you have to get through me if you want to know the truth, right? So it's almost as if there's something hidden there. There's something that's going to happen or meant to be. There's a reason why the two of you are together, but it's not easy to see. So I would say, where do you seem to be heading? It doesn't make sense right now, but there is a reason the two of you are friends. So that would be the feedback I give her. And again, I talked about reading the cards together. So let's look at this whole reading as a whole. And I'm sorry again that you can't see all the cards. Let me see if I can just get these in a little bit. All right, I'll get this here. Just so you could see them all, because it's important when you're doing a reading. Can you see this one? The Two of Cups? Okay. To look at everything and how it works together. So the first thing about her reading that stands out to me is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 major arcana cards, and they each have one on their sides, and there's 3 when we talk about their relationship. Karmic? Yeah, I would say so. The other thing is about the court cards. Court cards can be read so many different ways, and they can represent people. So if this is talking about key strength in the relationship, this could be talking about one of their mutual friends. Excuse me. One of their parents. Maybe she's getting advice from a parent, or maybe her parent is a role model to her, and that's why she is the son, or that's why she is kind of a stable and nurturing friend. Or it could represent her, or it could represent N, even though he's a male figure. He could be the one that's nurturing. She would know best because she is, the one doing the reading. She knows herself and N much better than I do. But another way to interpret this card, especially if it's advice, is how you need the attitude you need to exude in this situation. So a lot of times, especially when I get court cards for like mind, body, spirit, and you're like, what the heck does that mean, court card? It could be the persona you need to exude, the attitude you need to take, or the face you need to put forward, the face you need to show in a current situation. So that is what I would say about the court cards in a relationship. And then I also wanted to talk about, and she did a great job in her reading. I loved how she, and I don't have her deck, but she took the Four of Swords, which usually has a stained glass window, and she saw a parent unicorn with a baby unicorn in it, and related it to something specific that she knew about the person. That is a really great way to personalize a reading, to go one step beyond a basic interpretation where you just spill out the meanings of the cards. Is look for things that mean something to you. When you turn over the card, what jumps out at you? You know, like here I talked about the bunny. That jumped out at me. It's peeking. It's like saying, I have something to show you. I have a secret. So those things, pay attention to those things. They might not have anything to do with the card meaning, but they have a huge message for you. So we talked about, there are a lot of major arcana cards. So this is a really important relationship. Most of them are positive. The devil can be negative, but it's really, you know, I don't always see the devil card as negative unless it's really kind of distracting you from something important. It's okay to be indulgent once in a while, right? But let's look at all the cups. It's 3 cups and 1 sword and 1 pentacle. No wands, so no passion. She talked about a spark. So a lack of wands is another thing I noticed, but mostly we have cups here. Emotions, so maybe there's something tying the two of them together emotionally. That's just because there's cups here. We're not reading, you know, the meaning of each card. We're generalizing based on what we see. And the cups tell me there's an emotional tie here. There's emotional connection, and one of them sees it as something they need to escape or walk away from, and the other one is letting it suck them in, right? And it's just this is like a big indicator here to me that one of them wants to have this special bond, and the other one is saying, nope, 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 I'm walking away. All right, so that's how I pick apart a reading. I want to thank, I can't say her name because I promised, you know, to keep it private, but I really appreciate her giving me permission to do this on my YouTube channel so that other people can benefit from it. And I wanted to say that I would love to do more of these. If you find them helpful, let me know in the comments. I really want to do more. And I thought it could be something special that I offer people who are on my email list if they want to submit a reading. If you are not on my email list, the link is below. You can get a nice little freebie if you join my email list. And you can, of course, always unsubscribe. But if you would like me to pick apart your reading, please join my email list, and then you can email me your reading. My only request is that it be your reading, not just, here's the cards I drew, what does this mean? All right, I'm not doing the reading for you. I would expect something like this. So thank you for listening. I hope this helped you, and I look forward to doing more of this. Thanks, bye.